Hey Virgo. So, um, so I'm going to be straight with you from the beginning. What I'm picking up today isn't vague, maybe someday energy. This is imminent. This is someone specific who's either already in your awareness or about to enter it, and the timeline between meeting them and being in actual relationship with them is compressed. We're talking weeks, maybe a month or two, not the slow burn you might be expecting. So if you've been in your casual era, if you've been telling yourself you're not looking for anything serious, if you've convinced yourself you're happy alone, that's all about to get disrupted in the best possible way. Let's get into who this person is and why this is happening so fast. Okay, Virgo, let's begin. Uh, there's someone in your orbit or about to enter your orbit who's going to move from stranger or acquaintance to partner with speed that surprises you both. And the reason it's happening fast isn't because either of you is desperate or impulsive or making poor decisions. It's because the recognition is going to be so clear that prolonged uncertainty becomes unnecessary. When you know, and you're about to know. This isn't about love at first sight in the fairy tale sense where you lock eyes across crowded room and everything goes slow motion. This is about compatibility revealing itself so quickly and obviously through actual interaction that the usual should we, shouldn't we, let's take it slow, let's see where it goes dance feels pointless. Let me describe what compressed timeline relationship formation actually looks like when it's healthy versus when it's red flag. Healthy, fast moving relationship is built on rapid but deep getting to know you period where you're both showing up authentically from the start. You're not performing, you're not hiding your weird or your wounds or your actual life. You're being real because something about this person makes real feel safe immediately and they're being equally real back. And through that realness, you discover compatibility across multiple dimensions simultaneously intellectual, emotional, physical, practical, spiritual. You're not just attracted to each other, you work together in ways that are obvious, undeniable, and sustainable. Red flag, fast moving relationship is built on intensity without foundation. It's all chemistry and projection. It's I've never felt this way before based on 3 conversations and fantasy about who the person might be rather than who they actually are. It's love bombing and future faking and moving in together before you know each other's last names because the intensity feels like destiny but is actually just mutual avoidance of being alone. The difference is substance. Healthy fast has depth underneath the speed. You're learning real things about each other rapidly because you're creating space for real conversations, real experiences, real observation of character. Red flag fast is surface intensity that mistakes excitement for connection. What's coming for you is the first kind. This person is going to reveal themselves quickly, not through grand gestures or overwhelming declarations, but through consistent showing up, through how they handle small moments, through the way they listen and respond and adjust and care. And you're going to reveal yourself quickly too, not because you're trying to lock them down before they discover your flaws, but because something about them creates environment where being yourself is easier than performing someone else. Let's pause here. This reflection invites you to consider what would make you feel safe enough to be completely authentic with someone you just met. Maybe it's their energy calm, grounded, non-judgmental. They don't need you to be impressive. They're not evaluating you against checklist. They're just genuinely curious about who you actually are, which makes pretending feel unnecessary and exhausting rather than protective. Or maybe it's how they handle vulnerability when you test the waters with small admissions. You mention something you're insecure about or struggling with, expecting them to minimize or fix or judge, and instead they just hold space. They listen without making it about them. They validate without patronizing. They show you that your humanity is acceptable, which makes you want to show them more of it. Or maybe it's that they're being equally real with you. They're not performing perfect either. They're showing you their actual life, their actual personality, their actual complications and quirks and imperfections. And that mutual authenticity creates trust faster than months of carefully curated dating would. Some people take years to show their real selves because they're terrified real self isn't lovable. But this person and you with this person won't have that fear. Or you'll have it, but you'll push through it anyway because the connection feels worth the risk. This reflection invites you to consider who in your life or who you might meet soon creates that kind of safety just by being themselves. There's something specific about why this is happening very soon rather than eventually or someday or when the time is right. The timing is specific because you're ready in ways you haven't been before, and they're ready in ways they haven't been before. And those two readnesses are about to collide at exactly right moment. You might have just exited something, relationship, situationship, long period of being alone that prepared you to recognize and receive real connection when it appears. You've learned what you don't want clearly enough that what you do want has become obvious. You've healed enough that you're not trying to use new person to fix wounds from old people. And they're in similar space. They're not fresh out of devastating breakup looking for rebound. They're not chronically unavailable person who strings people along indefinitely. They're not commitment phobe who needs 5 years to decide if they like you. They're ready for real relationship with real person, not for fantasy or distraction or ego boost. When two ready people meet, the usual obstacles dissolve. There's no, I need to focus on myself right now. No, I'm not looking for anything serious. No, let's just see where it goes. That really means I want access without commitment. Just two people recognizing compatibility and choosing to build on it intentionally. And the external circumstances support the speed. You're both in position where relationship is logistically viable, same city, or willing to relocate, compatible life situations, aligned enough on timeline and priorities that you're not fighting against fundamental incompatibilities from day one. Some relationships that could work don't work because timing or logistics make them impossible, but this one has green lights across the board. The universe or timing or whatever you want to call it is supporting this instead of creating obstacles. This reflection invites you to consider what recent changes in your life have made you more available for real relationship than you were 6 months ago. Let me describe who this person might actually be because someone new is vague and you're probably wondering if you already know them or if they're a complete stranger. For some of you, this is someone already in your peripheral awareness, friend of friend, person you work with or see regularly in some context, someone you've noticed but haven't engaged with deeply yet. and something is about to shift that creates opening for deeper engagement. You end up in conversation that goes beyond small talk. You're both at a vent without your usual buffers, and you actually talk. Someone introduces you properly instead of you just nodding at each other across rooms. And that conversation reveals connection you didn't know was there. You discover shared interests, compatible humor, similar values, easy flow that makes hours feel like minutes. And one of you, probably them, but maybe you acts on that connection instead of letting it stay potential. They ask for your number, suggest getting coffee, create excuse to continue the conversation beyond that one night. And from there, it accelerates because the foundation was already being laid through proximity you just weren't paying attention to yet. Or this is someone completely new. You meet them somewhere you don't usually go, through app or introduction or random encounter that feels like fate because the odds of you being in that exact place at that exact time were low, but you were anyway. And the meeting itself has quality of significance. You both feel it that this conversation matters, sense that makes you more present than you usually are with strangers. That makes you exchange information without the usual calculating about whether you're interested enough to justify continued contact. Or this is someone from your past returning, not recent ex that would be messy and probably not the rapid, healthy development I'm seeing, but someone you knew casually years ago who you're reconnecting with now. Childhood friend, school acquaintance, person you lost touch with and are rediscovering as adults with completely different context. And the history creates familiarity that accelerates trust. You're not starting from zero. You have shared reference points, shared history, foundation that makes deep conversation accessible quickly because you're not strangers, even though you've both changed substantially. This reflection invites you to consider who fits one of these descriptions: peripheral person you haven't really engaged with, someone you might meet in unexpected place, or someone from past who might resurface. There's something about what the actual relationship is going to feel like once you're in it, because fast formation doesn't mean unstable foundation. This isn't going to be one of those intense starts that burns out quickly. This is rapid beginning that stabilizes instead of imploding because it's built on actual compatibility rather than just chemistry. You're going to feel calm in this relationship, not bored calm, like you can breathe, like you don't have to perform or chase or guess or manage anxiety constantly. Like you're with someone who's straightforward, consistent, actually wants to be there, and shows it through behavior that matches their words. That calmness might feel weird initially if you're used to equating intensity with passion, if you've learned to interpret anxiety as chemistry, if you think relationships are supposed to be constant emotional roller coaster. But calm is what healthy actually feels like. And once you experience it, you'll realize how exhausting all the intensity you used to chase actually was. You're also going to feel seen in ways you haven't been seen before. This person is going to pay attention to details about you that others overlooked. They're going to remember things you mention casually. They're going to adjust their behavior based on your preferences without you having to nag or negotiate or sacrifice your needs repeatedly. And you're going to feel safe being yourself. Your weird won't be too weird. Your needs won't be too needy. Your boundaries won't be too much. Your authentic personality won't be something you have to tone down or hide. They're going to like you, actual you, not performed you, and that's going to create freedom you've maybe never experienced in a relationship before. But it won't be perfect. No relationship is. You'll have differences, disagreements, moments of friction. What makes this sustainable is that you'll both be committed to working through those moments instead of using them as exits. You'll communicate instead of stonewall. You'll repair instead of abandon. You'll treat conflict as information rather than as indictment. This reflection invites you to consider, what would sustainable, healthy relationship actually feel like compared to what you've experienced before? Let me address what you might need to do to be ready when this person appears. Because readiness isn't just about timing, it's about internal state. You need to release the story that good relationships take years to develop. Some do, but some happen fast because the people involved are mature enough to recognize compatibility and secure enough to act on it without game playing. If you meet someone and it feels easy, don't wait for the other shoe to drop. Don't sabotage good because you're used to difficult. Don't create problems to test whether they'll stay, because healthy people don't stay through manufactured chaos. They leave and find someone less exhausting. You also need to be willing to be vulnerable quickly. Not recklessly, don't trauma dump on date 2, but authentically. Share real things about yourself. Express real interest in them. Don't play it cool when you're actually interested, because playing it cool is how two interested people both wait for the other to show interest first and miss each other entirely. And you need to trust your gut when it says yes. When you meet this person and everything in you says this is it, don't override that knowing with, but it's too soon, or, but I barely know them, or, but what if I'm wrong? Your gut has access to information your brain doesn't. Trust it. You also need to clear space in your actual life. If your schedule is so packed that you have no room for new person, the relationship can't form even if the person appears. If you're still emotionally entangled with X or situationship, you're not actually available for new person even if you claim to be. Make space in your calendar, in your head, in your heart for this relationship to develop, because development requires time and attention and energy. And if you don't have those available, connection can't deepen even when initial attraction exists. This reflection invites you to consider, what would you need to clear from your life right now to make space for a relationship to develop quickly? Let me be direct about timeline, because very soon needs definition. For most of you, this is happening within next 4 to 8 weeks. Meeting or recognizing the person within days or a couple weeks, and then being in explicitly defined relationship within a month or two of that meeting. That's fast by conventional dating standards, where people date casually for 6 months before having the what are we conversation. But conventional timeline is often just fear-based delay. People wait to commit not because they need more information, but because they're scared of being vulnerable or wrong or trapped. But when you're with right person and you're both ready and you're both honest, you don't need 6 months to know if you want to be in relationship with them. You need a few real conversations, a few real experiences together, observation of how they handle normalcy and stress and disagreement. And then you know. And if you know, waiting to act on that knowing doesn't make you more certain. It just wastes time. You could be spending building something instead of wondering if you should build something. So, when this person shows up and the connection is obvious, don't drag out the getting to know you phase artificially because you think you're supposed to. Don't keep dating other people just to prove you're not too eager. Don't withhold commitment because you think it makes you more desirable. If you want to be with them and they want to be with you, just be with them. Some of you will meet this person this week, others within the month. For a few, they're already in your life, but the shift that creates romantic context is coming very soon. Either way, this is imminent, not distant future. You remain in complete control of how you respond when this person appears. You can say yes or no, can lean in or pull back, can trust the speed or insist on slowing down. All valid, all your choice. The power is yours. It always has been. You may notice reading this has activated both excitement and nervousness. Excitement about possibility, nervousness about whether it's real, whether you're ready, whether you can trust it. That's normal. Fast doesn't mean reckless, but it does mean uncomfortable if you're used to slow. Whatever you're feeling, honor it. Take what resonates, softly release the rest, trust yourself. Before we close, I want to ask you something. If you met someone and knew within a few weeks that you wanted to be in a relationship with them, would you trust that knowing or wait longer just because it seems too soon? Drop your honest answer in the comments. And what's your pattern with relationships? Do you usually move fast or slow? And has that served you? You will be in a relationship very soon with this person. And when it happens, the speed won't feel rushed or reckless. It'll feel obvious. Like, of course, this is happening. Why would we pretend we don't both want this and waste time we could be spending actually building something together? Not eventually, very soon, within weeks. Trust yourself with this trust that you'll recognize them when they appear. Trust that fast can be healthy when it's built on substance. Trust that you're ready for this, even if you don't feel ready. Trust that sometimes the best things happen when you stop overthinking and just follow the clear yes. See you in the next one. And listen, when you meet someone who's obviously right and obviously ready and obviously interested, don't sabotage it by making them prove themselves for 6 months first. Some people are worth saying yes to quickly. Stay open, stay ready, stay honest. Your person is very close. Let them in. Take care.